Let's continue with the bubble sort. Yesterday we did the bubble sort, but today we will look into more about the bubble sort. We'll do some optimization for the bubble sort. Okay, let me write down this. Okay, this is the bubble sort code which we did yesterday. Okay, let's run this one. Okay, some problem on this one. Okay, so it is running. Yesterday I showed how it is running. It is running. I'm just checking. So let's try to improve this bubble sort. So my question is, now let me ask you one question. So this is the outer loop. This is for the pass. 1 pass, 2 pass, 3 pass, and this is for the inner elements. That is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So for the pass, we will run this one time, then second time, third time, fourth time, fifth time, sixth time, seventh time. So we are running this n number of times, whatever number of times elements we have. But we are not using elements with the help of I. So I is useless. This I is only used to loop how many times we have to run this swapping part. So this top part is called the pass, and this is called the internal for loop is called the element swapping for loop. Okay, so we have two for loop. Now my question is, if I start I equal to 0 and then go to I less than r dot length and I plus plus, and if I reverse it, that is I will start with the end. If I want to start with the end, I can say I equal to r dot length, okay, and then I will say I is equal to greater than 0, and I will say I minus minus. Will the number of loop will change or it will remain same? If I go from 0 till this, or if I go this till 0, the number of time we are looping, will it remain same or will it change? Okay, Kate is saying same. Shweta is saying same. Okay. So, because if I am running from 0 to r dot length is, let's say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times, and if I go from r length to 0, it is also 7 times. So that means both the times the number of times is same. So that means I can either start from 0 or I can start from end, and I can go in reverse direction till 0. So since both are same, I will do this change here. This for loop, I will start with the end and come up to the first start beginning. Okay, next thing is I start with J. So J is 0 number here, and then J is 1, and I always refer with J plus 1. So I start with J plus 1, J again, J plus 2, J plus 3, J plus 4, J plus 5, J plus 6. So when J is at this position, what is J plus 1? It's nothing, right? When I always J with J plus 1, that means when I reach this position, when I reach this position, J plus 1 is nothing. So it is meaningless to go till the last element. So what change I will do in this, I will do, I will start with j equal to 0, but I will end with j is less than I minus 1. Okay, so what is I? One second. So what is I? I starts with array dot length. Array dot length is, let's say, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I is at the 7th number. Okay, so forget about that part. You know, it's too complicated to that thing. So just remember that I will start I with the end, and I will make j is equal to I less than 1. So whatever I is there, I will start with I minus 1. Okay, so next time, because because the last element always becomes the top one, or it is in the ascending order, or it is in the sorting order. So every time I is reduced to 1, and we don't need to take the last element. Since we don't need to take the last element, we have to go j always I less than 1. So if I is reaching this one, so I don't want to go further it. So I don't want to loop this j part after the I, because I am going from backward to front, and the last element is always becomes sorted after this round. Since last element becomes sorted, so I don't need to go to the last element when it is sorted. So as soon as we go further, we have to reduce this j. Let's say these three are sorted, then I don't want to go again this three part. We will do before that only. So j will be always reduced to 1 by 1 in each step, so that because in the last element is always sorted, and in the second round this last element will be sorted. So we don't need to go to the we need to reduce 1 by 1. Okay, so these two things we need to do change. Okay, we will see how it's working after we are done with this change. So let's run this one and see if it is we are getting correct result or no. I will just check. I will check here what is I and value of j. Maybe I need to do change if I'm not getting proper result. I just put one round, and I may optimize it more once I see the console, because this is also not a final. Just remember, we are experimenting few variables. This may not be the right one. We need to change after I see what is coming. So here I will check what is I, what is j, and what is the value of I and value of j. And after this, running this console, I will make more changes in this for pattern. Okay. So right now I will just reduce this to little bit 4, 3, 2, 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 4, something like that. Okay, let me see now what's coming now. Okay, let's do one more time, making some reduced number. Let's do only two number, 2 and 1. So I is 2 because I start from array dot length. Array dot length is 2 because 1 and 2 are there. So I start with the 2. J is 0. Okay, so value of I is undefined because 2 will go still to the last one, which is undefined, and value of j is equal to 2. Okay, so before swap it is 2, 1, and after swap it is 1 and 2. and now the I will become 1. After this, I will become 1. It is not coming because of this condition. I will become 1 and J will become also 1. So J is less than 1 minus 1, that is 0. Okay, so this condition, though it is undefined here, but these two conditions are working fine because we get it proper 2 and 1. Let's try to add one more element and see. So it's irrespective. If you try to add little bit more numbers, see I put I minus 1. If you put till array.length also, it's fine because ultimately it will work fine. I'm just trying to reduce last few sessions. Otherwise, you can put it because this will not increase the complexity. So if you add one more or two, one more, if you do one more round, one more pass, it will not increase your complexity. So if complexity is same, you can do whatever you want. Okay, let's try this one, 3 elements. So I is 3, and before swap it is this, and after swap it is 2, 3, 1 because 3 shifted here. Okay, I is 3, J is 1. Okay, and then J is 1, value of I is this, value of J is 3. So now before swap it is 2, 3, and after swap it is 2, 1, 3. Then I became 2. J is 0. Because J will start with 0, 1, always and 1. We don't need to go to J to the 2 element because we always have J plus 1, which compares with the last element. Okay, so value of I is 3 and value of J is 2. So we convert it into 1, 2. Okay, so this 2 seems to be working fine based on the logic which we have put. So just remember what we did. We start I from array length to 0, and since it will not change the past number, so we can start from beginning or end. If we start from the end, it helps us reducing this J part because we are now not going to. We are always referencing I as a parameter, so we are always going one number reduce every time. So we're going, because in here 3 was this, last element was 3, and I is 2. That means J is going till one number only. One number means till here only. It's not going to the last number. So J is always reducing one number each time we pass, and that will help us in reducing the number of looping. Okay, so J should be always one number. So these are the 2 changes which you have to do in your code. So let's try to do here in your code. So we will start with array.length, and we will go till I is greater than 0. And then J will start with 0, but it will go till I minus 1. Because last element will always be ascending order. So we have to go one by one, we have to decrease it. Okay, so just do these 2 changes. Let's try to see this example if this is working. If this is not working, then we need to do the changes. Okay, let's try now. So we have 18. Before the swap, I is 4. We are getting 37. And when I is 5, we are going till 30. When I is 4, we have 29 already set. When we have 3, we have already the highest number 18 set. Yeah, so this is working fine. Just do these 2 changes. We have to go I from start to end, and we have to go j from start till one number reduced to the I. We change the I because we want to decrease j to one number as soon as we pass one pass. So we want to reduce the passes. So if I keep it till end, so it will work, but it will be extra call. So try to reduce it one by one after every pass. Okay, so now have we done these two changes? So what we did, this end to 0, and this one will be 0 till I minus 1. So whatever I is there, minus 1 till minus 1 we will get. And every time the I will be reduced, and we will go to one number less every time. That is the reason we are changing these two lines. Now there is one more change which we have to do, and that is, let's say we have already a sorting number. Let me show you what it means. So let's call this one. Let's call this one, and we will change the array. So here I will put 2, 1, 3, 4, 5. For example, this only first two are not sorted, but rest all are sorted. So let's see what's happening now. So I sort this first here 1 to 2, and then you will see here you see before swap and after swap, and after that you only see before swap because swap is not needed in any other case. That means if we don't need the swap, it is sorting. It is already in the sorted order. So here, if we don't see swap here, that means I can avoid all the further calls. So we need to take care of that part also. So to do that, to take care of that, I will create one variable and I will show you what we are doing it. Okay, this one was we did yesterday. I will save as day 3. Okay, so what I will do here in this function, maybe I'll write down this function there. I will write down the same logic here, 2, 1, 3, 4, for example. So what I will do here, I will say in the bubble sort, I will say, sorry, what happened? Going here before swap. Okay. Yeah, sorting means you can do ascending, descending both. You know, you have to reverse your logic yet. But when we're learning as ascending kind of thing, sorting kind of thing, but you can do either way. Right. I minus, sorry. I was saying just it went continuously. Okay, thank you, Kate, for correcting me. Let's take this one. Yeah, it got hanged because of this one. I need to close this out. Because of that one, it goes to infinite loop. I'm not able to close also. Let's try to do it in here. So let's try to do the avoid the swapping if we don't swap in any of the loop. So if I'm passing going one pass, two pass, three pass, if in any pass I'm not swapping, means I'm not calling this if condition, that means it is already sorted and we don't need to sort it again. So that one is the idea. So I will create one temporary variable or one variable which will keep track of whether the swap is called or not. So let's say I will say no swap. Okay, initially I will say no swap. So here in the first for loop, I will say no swap equal to true. That means swap didn't happen. So what I'm saying, no swap equal to true. That means swap didn't happen. If swap didn't happen, then I don't want to continue here. Okay. So if swap initially I make it true, and here I will say in after this for loop, if no swap happened, that means it didn't swap, then I have to come out of the loop. I don't want to go inside this loop again. So what should I write here so that I can come out of the loop? This is one loop and this is small loop. So when I'm saying that initially only I'm saying that it is no swap equal to true, that means swap didn't happen. If swap didn't happen, then we have to come out of this for loop. What should I write here so that I come out of the for loop? Exit, there is no exit in the JavaScript. So I have to come out of the for loop because no swap happened. Break. So we need to call the break. So I assume that no swap happen, and if no swap happen, I will come out of the loop. Okay. But if swap happens, I will make the no swap equal to false. So if swap happens, I will make no swap equal to false. So what happened here? Initially I'm saying for swap doesn't happen. But when I go in this for loop, if swap happens, then I will make this false. So when it goes out of this loop for loop, it will see false, no swap is false, then it will not go inside it. It will go again in this for loop. And in this for loop, it will make it no swap equal to true. Then if I run this for loop and no swap happen, that means I didn't swap any time. When I didn't swap any time, then no swap will still remain true, and I will go in this loop if condition, and we will be out of the for loop, and we will not go again to this for loop. Okay, that's what we are doing change here. Okay, let's run it now. So here I will pass 2, 1, 3, 4. So after first element is done, that is after this first is done, second time it will say no swap equal to true. So second time it will make true, and then it will come out of the loop. So we will not run all the loops again which we saw previously. Okay. SOP is not there because we defined the SOP in the another browser, so it doesn't know. So let's try down here. Okay, let me paste the okay, so now you see first time before swap happened, and then after swap happen, because we go inside the swap, and then all the time, like 2, 3, 4, all the time before swap happen, because we didn't need to swap it. Okay. Next time, we did break, because swap will become true. So we call the break. And once we call break, we didn't have lot of code which was present in previously. If I don't put this swap, let's try to do it again. I will not put swap. I will comment this part, then you will see. Okay, so I think yeah, let's do it again. Let me copy this there, and then we'll take the old code. Okay, so here also we don't see the major break, only we see 1 5 time there was a 4. Let's try to take a bigger number, and we will see with a bigger number, bigger with sorted number. Okay, let's try to see 2 1 3, 4 5 6 7 8 9. Okay, let's start this one. Okay, so we got 35 this one. Now we will change this. We'll change the function and see how much time we are getting it. So here we call 35 times that part. Now we will change this one. Okay, still we are seeing same thing. If we remove the break, we put the break. Let's remove the break. Okay, let's try to do same thing. 2 1 3. Okay, so it went to 14 times. So it is reduced to, much lesser than what we got previously. It was 31 times, 35 times, and if it goes, this number increases. If we don't put swap, then it will increase, but with swap, it will decrease, kind of thing. So just we will write down this function again, and then I will do some exercise. Okay, so just write down this function. So only you already written, just add this no swap equal to true here, and if no swap, just break here. And inside the if condition, make no swap equal to false. Okay, is it done? Okay, so now let's try to. So this bubble sort is very good for the small set of data, and if the data increases to thousands or 10,000 or 100,000, then the bubble sort is not a good choice. It will break or it will take so much time, which is not advisable. So let's try to see how much bubble sort takes time if we increase the data. So before, so to get the random data in the array, let's let's see what is the. So this is the URL. So this is the code to get the random data in the array. So let's try to use this. Okay, so to see what is data here. So if I want to get 10,000, let's get only 100. So it will put randomly 100 numbers, and we need to sort this 100 numbers. So we'll see how much time it takes to sort in binary sort, bubble sort to get for the 100 data, 100 elements. So let me write down the code to see calculate how much we are getting it. So I will create one variable var t1 equal to performance.now, and then I will say t2 is equal to performance.now. In between I will put my logic, and after this in the end I will say console.log time taken is plus, we'll put t2 minus t1. You don't need to remember this one, just watch. T2 minus t1 divide by 100 plus seconds. Okay, so here in between these two lines I will put my logic. Okay, what logic I will put? I will call this one. First let us call this small one, and then we will change the data to big one. Okay, so something there is t2 minus t1. Okay, let's close this one. Okay, so how much time is taken? 0.02 seconds. Let's try to increase the data amount. We have already this data with 100 elements, so let's take this data. So it's taking 3.4 seconds. Let's try to, because the console also is sometime taking time. So let's remove the console and see the time. So let's remove the console because console is taking too much time. We should remove the console and check. Okay, we'll check again. So now 100 elements is taking 0.01 seconds because we removed the console. Let's try to get more data. Okay, let's take 1000. Okay, let's take 1000. Okay, now data is 1000 elements. Now we'll run this part again. Now see how much time taking. So it's taking 0.095 seconds. So with 1000 records, it's taking this much. And if it goes to 10,000, it will still take more. Let's take the 10,000 and see how much it takes. Okay, these are the 10,000 elements. Now I will run this again. Okay, it's taking 2.64 seconds. So if I go to 100,000 seconds, it will increase too much, maybe 20 seconds or 30 seconds. So as the data grows, the time taken increases too much because there are two for loops. And because of two for loops, the data is growing with O(n) square. And since it is going with O(n) square, so it's taking time. Okay. So bubble sort is not good for the large data set, but it is good for the small data set. I'm just putting this how to get the data, random data here. Okay, so now the task which you have to do tomorrow is you have to remember or by heart this bubble sort function and swap also, both the function with ES6 version of swap and bubble sort. So I will randomly pick 3 people tomorrow and they have to write it without looking into this function, and they will be writing somewhere. Maybe they can share the screen or I will write down. They have to tell me. We will see tomorrow how we have to do. But you have to by heart this function, and that means you have to remember everything whatever is in this function. Is that clear? So all the functions which we will do, we are going to do some 300 to 500 problems. So every function you have to by heart from top to bottom, and you have to write down without looking at it. Okay, so you have to write every line without looking. So maybe you read it 10 times or you write it 10 times. Tomorrow I want you to be prepared with this function bubble sort and also the swap. So you have to write down swap function first, then you have to write down the bubble sort, and then we will see if it is matching with this one. So do not copy, just you have to in front of me, you have to write every line of the code and explain. If I will ask you what you are doing in this line, what you are doing in this line, what you are doing in this line. So you have to explain me what is it. Okay, that's all for data structure today. So tomorrow we will go through this. I will pick randomly 3 people who will do this, and then we will start with another sort, that is the selection sort. So that's all for today's data structure. We'll start React now. So every day 30 minutes will be data structure, and then we will start with the React. Okay. So we started the detailed page of the React yesterday. Let's go through the detailed page. Okay, so this is the create page, but it's not working. Let's see. Let me restart it. Somehow I don't see anything on this create page. What can be the problem? So I will go to routing and see what is the problem. So see, I created this campaign and I put the ID here before this create part. So it is thinking that this ID is coming as a create. So we should always put this, whatever is dynamic path, we should always put that dynamic path in the end. So let's put dynamic path in the end of the all routes. Now it's coming. This is coming. So this is my campaign page, and I will go to this detail page. Okay. So now what we will do, we have not done the live part, that live query for this page, campaign page. We'll first do that one today. So let's do the live part today. Just we close it right now. Okay. Okay, so in the home folder, everyone create a new file called as livequery.jsx. So in the home, we will create one live query, which will be RFCE. So this component will not display anything to the user. Okay, so we can also say return null. We don't want to display anything to the user for this. Okay, so I will call this live query. For now, I'll put it div, but I will remove it once I put the code. Just put live query, and we will call this in the listing page at the extreme bottom, live query. And here I will say import live query from live query. Okay, let's try to write down the live query quickly so that we can complete it quickly. So when the page will load, or when the listing page will load, we have to call the react.useEffect, and we will call one function here, arrow function with the parameter dependencies. Inside this useEffect, I will create one function called as process, and this is the async function, and I will call this process function here. So in the live query, we created the useEffect, and I call the process function. I created the process function which is async, and we get this process here. This is how we have done live query previously also, if you remember. And if you don't remember, you can go there and check it. So everyone write down these 2 lines of the code, these 4 lines of the code, then we'll go further. Okay, let's go further now. So in this process, I will create one function called as get livequery, or anything, whatever name you want to give, you can give. This is also a async function. Here I will write down all my logic of get query kind of thing, and I will call this new function inside it like this: await get livequery. Okay, so just I created this one because my whole logic will be inside it, and I'm calling it here like this one. Okay, so this process is called in the use effect, and then this will be containing the logic to get the subscription part, and we are calling this livequery here. So just write down these two lines of the code. Two lines. I will write down 2 lines. You have to write down 2 lines. Okay. So now we will go with here in the livequery. We created subscription, if you remember. So I will create subscription here, and it will be react.useRef, and I will create with null. So I will create the subscription with the react.useRef, and I will pass this subscription. I will pass this subscription here inside this, or I will use this subscription inside this function. Okay, so that's why I created this subscription with href, use href, and I will be using it in this function. Okay, so let's try to write down this get livequery now. So since we want to use the get livequery, we will write down the query. So first line will be query equal to new parse dot query, and we are calling the table which one? C1 campaign. So we are calling this table. Now I will put some conditions equal to approved equal to 1. We want approved. Query dot equal to deleted is equal to 0. Then query dot equal to status equal to 1. So these conditions should be made. Then only I will use this query. And like listing page, we have the keyword, we have the results or page max. We don't need the pagination for it. We don't need the max, no need the sort by, no need the sort order. Okay. So right now I will not take even keyword also. Whatever new query is come, I will show it. So I will not put any if condition right now. Let it be like this only. Now once this is done, before we call this query, we can also put one if condition. If subscription is there and subscription dot current is there, then we will unsubscribe it. So we'll say subscription dot current dot unsubscribe, because we don't want to create multiple subscription, so we need to unsubscribe it. So if, and subscription is what? It is taking the subscription, and whenever we load this get live query, we have to check which subscription, and subscription dot current is there, because useref will always create this useref will always create subscription object, and this subscription object has the current. So everything what you put in this useref variable, it will go inside the current. So what we have to say, subscription dot current is there, we have to unsubscribe it, and then we'll run the query. And after we are done with the query, I want to check what is the query. So I'll just say console.log live query is query. And in the after the console, I will create a subscription. So I will say subscription dot current is equal to await query dot subscribe. So whatever query is there, we will subscribe to it. We have already done this one. If you don't remember, you have to go and watch the past video, but I will just repeating it, whatever we did. So we just created the query and we created the subscription. The subscription is assigned to subscription.current because subscription is a use ref. Use ref, you cannot use the variable directly. Whenever you want to put the value or update the value in the subscription, it has to be updated with the subscription.current. You cannot say subscription equal to this because this is not the normal variable. This is the use ref variable. Any use ref variable has to be referenced with subscription.current. So what I'm doing, I'm creating the query and I'm putting it in the subscription.current equal to await query.subscribe. Let's try to see if I'm getting this query properly. So let me open the app, refresh it. So you will see here live query is this. Let's see what is the query. Query is saying where approved equal to 1, deleted equal to 0, status equal to 1, and table name is the C1 campaign. So we got this live query, whatever we have here, and we created a new subscription. So before I go further, write down this line, write down this use ref, and inside the get live query, put these 4-5 lines of the code. Okay, so once we have created the query and once we subscribe here, so now we have to write down different things for the subscription. If you remember, we have done same thing. Let me show you what we have done. We'll do copy paste on this thing. So this is a master.jsx which we did few days back, and here we get the get record live query. And once we subscribe it, then we need to then we call this subscription.current open, then create, update, enter, leave, delete, and close. So we need to get all this one. So I'll just copy from here. You have to write down though. Okay, so I copied it there. Though we have not created this one, so let's delete this part right now. Okay, so at least we will see what things are coming here, and we'll try to use that. Okay, so let's run this one. I will refresh it. So before we really see the subscription, we need to put this table name inside the index.js of the master folder. Not this one. Index.js of master folder inside the class name. So we have the library class name. Here we have to put that table name. Otherwise this will not work. So let me restart it. If you don't put here the live query, then it will not work. All the subscription works based on the live query, based on the name which you have put it here. So you will see subscription open is called because whenever you do the subscription, whenever you subscribe, it will call this on method, and we have the subscription opened. Then as soon as we create it, it will go inside this. So I'll show you the create part. I will add new component, test one. So when I click save, nothing happens here. We don't see the create object. Can anyone tell me why? We did not see this part. Why? Can anyone tell me why? Though we have written the subscription.create equal to object created, but we don't see this in the console.log. What is the reason? The reason is, though we have created, we didn't approve it, and in the condition we have said it should be approved. So if you see the condition of the query, it should be approved equal to 1. So we need to approve it here in this admin page. Then only it will appear there. Okay, so let me reduce this in size to show you. Okay, once I will click approve, you will see the console.log. So once I see approve, okay, though it is coming 2 times, we need to fix that also. But at least you see that it is here, right? And then we'll do this approve for this also. So we get it here. Okay, we'll fix this 2 times later. Okay, so at least I wanted to show you that it is coming live. Okay. Okay, so spelling is wrong. That's the subscribe. No, spelling is correct. Subscribe. I'm thinking why 2 times is coming. Okay, I will see why 2 times is coming. We'll fix that also. Right now, let it be, and then we will do it. Okay, so we will see why 2 times is why it is coming 2 times. Okay, we'll check later. Okay, let's fix this one first. Let me see anything which I can. Okay, so if I go to that file ahead again, so we have the query, we have the subscription dot unsubscribe, and then we have to subscribe this. Okay, so if you see, I have also written another use effect. That means if you go away from the page, then it should also call the unsubscribe. So let's grab that part also, and we will put it there. So I have to create another use effect that will check if subscription is there and subscription.current is there, it will unsubscribe it. So this return function in the use effect is called when we go out of the page, we go out of the component. That means when you go from one component to another component, that means the current component is no longer live, then we call this return function in the use effect. And whatever code is written, it will be called. So we check if subscription is there and subscription.current is there, we unsubscribe it when you go away from the page. That is the reason we put it here. Okay, let's check now. Okay, we got this. Let's put the console as we have here. So I will know where I am, whether here or no. Okay, now I will see live query is here. Right now nothing is there in the live query, but we see the live query. Okay, so once created object is created, we have to create the object in the. So right now display, when you see the display in the listing, it is coming display from the results, and results is here in the reducer. So whenever the new object is created or it is entered, we need to add the results with one more value. Okay, and when someone will update it, then we have to update the results. And when someone will delete it, then we will delete the results here. So that is the purpose of this one. Okay, so let's try to create it. Okay, so for create it, I will create a function create here in this action. Let's create it. Let's call the create function. Create campaign object, something like that. Create campaign object, we get the object, and once we get the object, we need to we need to update the results. Okay, so this is little I will write on this in a bit. Right now I'm commenting it because I want you to write down this part. We'll go further. Okay, so write down all this part because we have completed. First write down this use effect of this one. I highly recommend you should write it every word yourself. Don't try to copy paste. I did copy paste to reduce the time, but you should write down for your sake. So first write down this one, then you have to write down this whole thing, and then we'll go with the create one. I'll give you 2 minutes to do this. Okay, so let's do it quickly and then you can go through it later maybe. I will give this in the Telegram chat so you can copy it. Okay, so let's try to complete this today. So the thing is that I need to create this function create, and then I need to work on this create part. Okay, so let's have a couple of more functions. One is create append object, one is update for updating, and one is delete. We will create 3 functions here in this section. So like we did, I will copy from the old one, like we did the create part here. I will copy it and that try to edit it. So what we did, we update the count and we update the results. Same thing we will try to do it there. So here I need to call first dispatch, and dispatch has type of something. I will put that type, and then I will put a payload. Payload will be nothing but the count of whatever value is there in the count plus 1, and the results will be whatever results we have initially plus the current object in the array. So if I go to the reducer, we already have the count and the results. We only need to get these two things here in the action. Okay, so previously we were using the state.count. Now state is in the reducer. So we need to get the count and results from the reducer. Does anyone know how can I get the state value here? If you don't know, say no. Anyone knows how can I get the state value which is created in the reducer, count and results here in the action? Okay, store value is not here. In this page, we don't see store. So maybe you don't know because I haven't told you, or if you have not read it. So to get this state value, we have another parameter in the action that is called the get state. And then I will say constant state is equal to get state function, because this get state is a function. I will initialize this function and name it as a state. Now whatever state values are there, I will get in this state parameter. So if I want to update the count, I cannot write state directly here, like state.count will not work, because we need to call the campaign reducer also. So we have to say state.campaignReducer.count +1. Similarly, when we want to update this state.results, I will say state.campaignReducer.results. Then it will take the state value, whatever we have here. And I will use the type called as campaign results because it has count and results like this. So I can take use of this same thing here in the type. So what I did, I put the type results and I got the state with this get state, and I can then put it here. Is this clear, this part? So we got another parameter, we initialize that parameter, and then we get the state variable. And state variable is a complete one. So we have to say state.campaignReducer.count +1. Similarly, state.campaignReducer.results. If you don't understand now, maybe you go through the video again or write it down, then you will understand it better. And if you don't understand, ask me, because this is very important. We will be doing this live query in every project, and in also one project multiple times. So to understand this is very much important. So we have used the same function which we did it here. Only thing here we were saving in set state, but putting same thing there we will put it in the reducer. So we need to call the state this way and we to update like this. Okay, same thing we will do with the update part. We will do with the update part. So here also I will get the state like this, and then I will say state like this. Then I will get the results. I will get the results using the state.campaignReducer.results. Then I will use the find index by passing object ID equal to this. Then I will splice it, and instead of return, I will call the dispatch. And since this is update, count no need to update the count. So I will keep the count same. since this campaign results take both count and results, so I need to pass the count. But for the results, I need to pass the race. Okay. Go through, write it down after the class, and go through the video again and again. If you don't understand this thing, we are copying same thing here, whatever we did in last time. And I will not go through each one line, which I did already. Maybe you go through the past video to understand what we were doing here. Okay, let's go to now delete part. Delete part will be also same. Let's copy it. Okay, let's put it in the delete part. Here also I will call the get state. And then I will use state dot campaign reducer here. And instead of this last line, I will copy this here. In delete, we need to reduce the count to -1. And we to count to -1, and results will be nothing but the race, which is coming here. Okay, so it is doing same thing, but it is doing inside the action. Now we need to call this or everything in my live query. So we need to make the live query as the Redux enabled. So I will paste all the Redux part. This is very important. You have to go through it after the class. If you don't go through it, then it will be difficult. So tomorrow I'll ask you what is this, because this is very important. I will ask you what each line means. So you have to prepare for this. So tomorrow I'll take test for this one. Okay. Right now I will not pass anything in the map state. I'll call all the 3 functions, and I'll rename it with handle so that it should not overwrite with, or it should not clash with the above functions. Then I will call this 3 here in the live query. And whenever, okay, we didn't put a handle. And whenever we have this object created, we will call this handle created. And whenever there is enter, we will call this handle created. And wherever we have update, we will call handle update. We will also put it in the dependencies. Otherwise, it will give warning. And wherever there is leave, we will call this update. No, leave is delete. Update is only one. Let's call the delete for the leave. For delete also, we will call leave. For leave and delete, we call this one. Okay, so we completed this part. Now we have to call the last line. And I'll replace with live query. Delete part is not called here in the dependencies. We put it delete here. Okay, go through each line of this file and try to understand what I'm doing. We already did, so I'm doing it a little fast now for this one. Okay, so don't think why I'm doing this fast, because we already did it. Only thing I'm integrating in the Redux. So now this should work fine, and we should see the proper results in the page. Let me see if I miss anything. Okay, it should work fine now. So let me refresh it. Okay, let me create a new campaign. Let me create a new campaign, test2, and I'll save it. Then I'll go to campaign, admin list. So now you will see, I will approve it, you will see created, and you will see one item is added here. Right now it is test1 and test2 will come here. So let me approve it. So as soon as I approve it, you will see test2 is coming here. And we see object is entered. And we see campaign results is called with 6 items 5. And we have added the results also. So we got the test2 here. Let me create one more. Or let me edit this one. So let me edit this one. So I will edit the name of this one test2, just to watch what is happening. I will say test2. Okay, I cannot change the name here. Let's change directly the database. Because yesterday I put no that name cannot be changed. So in edit page I cannot change, but I can change it directly in the database. So see, I will change the title now. Once I change the title, object updated is called and campaign results, and we see test211. Let me change it again. See, it is changed because we call the updated now. So let me delete it. Once I delete it, it's gone. Okay, so after delete is called. So this live subscription is working fine. So let me go through the live subscription again, and then after the class you go through it in your free time. So we created 3 functions in the actions which will create, update or delete. And then in this live query, I called all these 3 functions. I created a subscription with the use ref, and the use effect I created process function, and inside that I created a get live query function. I check if subscription is already there, I unsubscribe it before going further. I call the query, I subscribe it, and on each action of the subscription we call different function. So on the create part we call the handle create, on the update part we call the handle update, on the enter part we call the handle create, on leave part we call the handle delete, on delete part we call the handle delete, and if subscription is closed we call the subscription is closed. And we call this function here, and we pass appropriate function as the dependencies in the use effect. We created another use effect for when the person will go away from this component, then we need to unsubscribe it. Otherwise there will be lot of subscription hanging on the air. That is all about the live query. So you can go through this again and again, watch this function, and you will be able to understand easily. We already did it. You need to just follow it today. I'm committing also. So we are done with this one. Any questions?